So this is Math 10 Prep. We are in Unit 6 and we are going to do Lesson 4, Graphing Relations 2. This particular lesson focuses on how to take an equation and put it on a graph, and how to take a graph and turn it into an equation. So to start with, we're going to take the equation. The first thing we'll do is create a table of values. Then we'll plot those pairs, ordered pairs generated in the table of values. Then we'll join those points using a ruler. Now that's difficult online, but if you can do that when you're doing it on paper and pencil, it's better that way. So we're going to start with creating the table of values. The first step when we create a table of values is to choose a variety of X data. So usually we start at, you can try -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. 5 is usually enough. And then I have this center column, and mostly you wouldn't include the center column, but this is just to show how we would calculate it. We substitute in the -2, we add y, and that should equal 3. So what would I have to add to -2 to get me to 3? And that would be 5. Off on the side, we could take and solve for y. We would need to add 2 to both sides to isolate y. So -2 plus 2 gives me y by itself. We have, because this is 0, and we have y is equal to 5. We do the same thing with -1, our next point. So we have -1 plus y is equal to 3. So in this instance, instead of adding 2, we would be adding 1 to produce a y value of 4. 0 plus y equals 3. That's fairly straightforward. We get 3. 1 plus y equals 3, and that would be 2. 1 and 2 gives us 3. 2 plus y equals 3, and so 2 plus 1 equals 3. Once we have generated our table of values, we recognize that table of values as producing a set of ordered pairs. So each calculation that we did had a y, an input, and an output. So you had an x going in and a y coming out. That input and output join together to create a set of points that we will plot on our table, on our graph. So our next step is to plot our points, the ordered pairs generated by the table. So we have -2 and 5. That's our first one. -1 and 4. That's our second. 0 and 3. That's our third point. We have 1 and 2, our fourth point. And finally our fifth point, 2 and 1. And if we've done our calculations correctly, our data should sit on a nice straight line. Now we're going to use the ruler to join these points. When you do that, you don't just start at one point and go to the other. We extend that line up like so, beyond, and again, as I say, use a ruler. Make a nice straight line. So we extend it beyond because we recognize that we've only calculated a few data points. There's an infinite number of data points that would make this equation true, and so there's an infinite number of points on our line. Now we're going to take and identify the line. So we have x plus y is equal to 3, and we always label our line so we know what works, or what the line represents. The other thing is to put arrows on the end of our lines, because that helps us recognize that it extends out into infinity in each direction. I'm going to pause or stop and we'll create a second equation or a second video for the next example.